we're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
We will connect wirelessly our neocortex to the cloud.
This is with nanobots that enter your neocortex.
Right.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And we see how nanotechnology is going to be introduced to the people. Of course, I have to tippy-toe around this area. But now that we have the C word, now we can see many people wanting to let a small bot inside their system to fight diseases. So the New World Order does what? Create the problem. Remember, Ray Kurzweil stated that nanobots will be introduced to the people end of 2020s or the beginning of 2030s. And we see how they're constantly pushing the fear up. We know the New World Order works off problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem. They create the fear. Also, when it comes to our drinking water, guys, that's the reason why they started water futures, because they're going to step up the chemicals in the water. Also, we know they control weather, so they can control the drought. Anytime you're betting on whether we're going to have water or not, guys, we know we're in some trying times. But we also know when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Well, clean and safe drinking water is a basic necessity we can easily take for granted here in this country. But now scientists say a group of largely unregulated toxic chemicals widely used for years is now a growing threat to water safety in thousands of American communities. It's raising new concerns about risks to our health, including potential links to cancer. Our senior Washington reporter, Devin Dwyer, with this story.
In the desert community of Tucson, Arizona, every source of drinking water is critical.
This is what we call the inflow into the plant.
Which is why residents were stunned recently when the city abruptly shut down this major groundwater treatment plant after officials discovered a potentially toxic chemical known as PFAS underground.
It took decades for the contamination to travel here 5 miles from the Tucson airport. When it did, officials were surprised by the sudden surge in PFAS.
We know that there's this contamination out there. We don't know exactly what it does, but we know it's not going away.
The so-called forever chemicals that don't break down and can't easily be flushed away are a growing concern in cities nationwide. Scientists with the Environmental Working Group in Washington have detected some amount of PFAS in groundwater or drinking water in nearly 2,800 American communities across 49 states.
It's likely an issue in every community, and that's why we need testing to find out.
The Environmental Protection Agency does not require testing for PFAS and does not enforce a national standard for the maximum amount that's safe to drink. That despite a 2016 EPA advisory that recommends limiting PFAS exposure to 70 parts per trillion in drinking water to avoid adverse health effects.
Some of the effects that have been uncovered through studies of people who are exposed are different types of cancer. They can also have effects on developing babies and on women while they're pregnant. If you're watching this and you're concerned about PFAS, you have to educate yourself. Where do you get your water, and what do you know about what's in your water?
Scientists say the contamination is often linked to industrial sites, landfills, airports, and military bases where the chemicals may have seeped into the ground.
Tucson's a bellwether. You know, we're the canary in the coal mine right now.
PFAS has been detected on lake shores in northern Michigan and neighborhoods near old military facilities in Pennsylvania. In New Mexico, a dairy farmer claims in a federal lawsuit that groundwater contaminated by PFAS firefighting foam poisoned his cows. And in March, after a foam spill at this small Virginia airport, PFAS was discovered in the water system of suburbs of the nation's capital.
It's not just localized issues of contamination, but these are issues in big metropolitan areas as well.
The EPA declined our request for an interview, but told us in a statement that addressing PFAS in drinking water is a top priority and that it's developing a multi-year strategy to deliver critical public health protections. Consumer advocates say EPA's delay in regulating the chemicals more broadly is troubling.
I think that the EPA, we need to hold their feet to the fire because nothing is going to change. Nothing will go forward until they set those limits.
The situation worries residents like Patty Daggett, whose aging mother Natalie at home in South Tucson still washes in the water but doesn't drink it.
I wish I could tell you how worried I am because, my mom's been affected, I've been affected.
Guys, Tucson officials told us they can guarantee the city's drinking water is safe and PFAS-free while they work to clean up that contamination. But how can you check to see if there's any PFAS in your tap water? Well, many local water companies do voluntarily test for the chemicals. They post those water quality reports online. Experts told us you can start there. And Amy, I expect we'll be hearing much more very soon from the EPA on this as pressure grows in Congress and around the country now for tighter safety regulations of these chemicals. Amy?
Yeah.
The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. Long COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.